So, you constantly have to make decisions as the CEO. So, how do you gain the confidence to make such big decisions for companies and for many people?
It really builds up over your career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're young, you make small decisions, and if you're lucky and you have somebody that you're working with who will let you make decisions and then explain to you why it was a good or a bad decision, then you just work up over time until you're making bigger and bigger decisions. So running a company or being a manager is exactly like being a parent. So my mom had the rule of sevens. Until we were 7 years old, we had to do everything she said because, which was incredibly annoying. From the time we were 7 until the time we were 14, basically we would get input, but she would make the decisions and then she would explain. From the time we were 14 until the time we were 21, she would have input, but we would make all the decisions. And when we made bad decisions, we would go back and review them and why they were bad decisions. And then at 21, we were pretty much out the door and on our own. So it's management is the same thing. When people are younger or coming right out of school, you just say, look, you need to just do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you give people more and more latitude until they're making the decisions and you're supporting them, and a lot of times they make the wrong decision. And so the key thing as a CEO is permitting people to make bad decisions
Right.
and to really screw things up, because if you don't, they'll never learn and they'll never become great leaders and you'll never be able to retire.
Yeah, it helps you understand.
And my kids are
more.
gone. My kids are gone, and one day I'm going to get to go home. Not yet, but one day I'm going to get to go home.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, you have to make sure, like, the people that are young are the, like, faces of the future. And so you have to let them make those mistakes so that
Right.
they can grow.
Right, exactly. But it's sort of like when they come back, it's not like I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
It's, okay, so what do you think went wrong? Why did it go wrong? What do you think you would do differently if you were making the decision again? It's kind of drawing people out. It's not that smug, well, I told you not to do that. That's bad leadership.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So many girls today, they fear failure, which is understandable. But if we're going to succeed, we have to fail.
Absolutely.
So how do you handle failure? Do you have any tips or any experiences?
Well, so my only advice is have the biggest failure you can have in your 20s.
My dad tells me the same thing.
Because in your 20s, you actually have nothing to lose. You don't have a family or a mortgage or a sofa or a car or anything that you're making like time payments on. So you're not falling as far as you do later. And the other reason to have a big failure in your 20s is once you've had that big failure, then you can have confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And people who have not had a big failure, by the time they're in their 40s, they get more and more fearful, and it really limits their ability to be successful, because the longer you go and you haven't failed, the more anxious you get about failing. It becomes self-defeating. So, blow up quickly, I guess, would be my advice. I don't know, I've had failures in businesses that I've started. I've had failures in relationships, which are as good as having failures in business, frankly. The more you try things, the more failures you'll have, big or little. And then you just have to sit down and reflect on what did I learn from that, and don't regard it as personal. It's I put myself in a situation that was wrong, or I did the wrong thing, or whatever, but don't internalize the failure. Just figure out what you can learn and bounce.
Yeah.